Hello viewers, Super GT here, back on Gran Turismo Sport. So we're continuing the Manufacturers Cup or Series. Did a video on it last week. This guy was surprised at my lap time at 2:09. Yes, I polled it somehow. Although we'll see around the circuit, the Tokyo outer loop, the expressway, that it really is down to Slipstream. So cue the inspirational Gran Turismo theme song as we prepare for battle around the Tokyo Expressway, where of course the best drivers will collect penalties together. There they are, and there's me in the Nissan GTR in Group 4. So here's the first part of the grid at least. So I've got pole position just behind me in Aston Martin. In third we've got the Corvette Spaniard there in third. And we'll just have a quick look at fourth, who is The Death, ominously called The Death. So he's going to be fast approaching for fourth place. Well, I hope he isn't anyway. So I'm starting on pole, but it's probably not the best place to be. As I've said, this is just a proper slipstreaming track because of the long straight, which is about 2 miles long. It's a very long indeed. So you can see here, I go down into second, and they can tuck back into the slipstream. And then almost, well, we'll see if I can actually overhaul him once again and get back into first. So here we go, we're going to pull over to the left up the interchange, braking just on the 100 board, or just before, and I've just braked a tiny bit too late. I'm going to force him into the wall. I'm going to back off to keep, let him keep the lead. And the Frenchman, The Death, is already there, and he's going to get through into second. So that's pretty much the worst start I could have had. Already with a 3-second penalty. You see the pack behind, see how close it gets as it now tightens up into the more technical section of the circuit. So of course we have the big walls on the side. There's nowhere to hide around here. If you're making a mistake, you are going into the wall and you're going to lose a lot of time. So I've been passed by 2 Aston Martins. I'm in the GTR, which is a solid car, but I don't think it's as good down the main straight. So I'm going to have to make it count during this section of the circuit. So 10 laps. It's a long race, and about 20 minutes or so in total. I think a quick lap, yeah, just over 2 minutes, so 2:10 roughly, or a bit higher. So then grazing the wall on the way down towards the final hairpin. So of course a crucial corner as we approach the main straight once again, braking on pretty much halfway between 100 and 150, so 125, and out we come onto the main straight. Here we go then. This is where the slipstream really matters. You see I'm fairly close to the guy just ahead, The Death, ominously called. So we're going to tuck right in as we head into the tunnel. So I suppose that slipstreaming as well would help with your fuel slightly, as you kind of, well, you're going faster for free essentially. So I suppose you could lift off going into the first corner and then not lose too much time overall. But you see here the Aston Martin, despite getting no slipstream of the guy ahead, he's I've only really got alongside, and that's about it, and I can't really get any further. We're going to see how we go into the braking zone. Look for that 100 board. There it is. Have we got it done? A little bit late. I think he's going to cut me back. Yes, he is. There he is. He gets a bit of a slide though on the exit, and then he's going to have to back out. He's going to have to bail. So there we go. Back into second. You see the pack behind from fourth backwards is extremely close to each other. And through this technical section that we're on to now, that's really not what you want, as you're very likely to be making contact, slowing each other down. So at the moment the top 3 begin to pull away. So we've got a fast sweeping chicane here, and the Frenchman has kept right on me. So my objective here really is just to try and be consistent, not make too many mistakes, and slowly reel in my fellow Brit in the lead. So the slipstream amount, the slipstream range if you like, I think it's around about 9 tenths. So if you're about 9 tenths behind going onto that back straight or going onto the main straight, then you should be able to get pulled along if you are within that kind of limit. I think anything over about a second and you probably won't get the benefit of the slipstream. So the Frenchman just, I think, grazing my rear end, but just about keep it under control. Quite a tricky hairpin that, very easy to overshoot. So you see the gap there, 1.3, that's not within range at all. So I'm not going to get any benefit here. Still got a 3-second penalty. And actually this guy behind, he knows the game. He understands this. He's bump drafting me right now. So at the end of the straight, the gap down to 1.1. So where I should have lost because the Aston is quicker, I've actually gained about 2 tenths. And he's made a mistake as the leader. So the gap now down to less than a second. So the Frenchman, he's getting it, you know, he understands. We might as well just reel this guy in together, and then we can fight for first. Essentially, it's one of those weird kind of tracks where it's just all about staying within range, and then as long as you're within range, you can fight it out. He's got a penalties into the wall. He slowed himself right down. So lap 3 has not been a good one for Lewis in the Aston Martin. I'm gonna take over the lead for now. It is still early. It's only lap 3. Plenty of things can happen from here, but it's a good position to be in, of course, as we go up the hill into the intersection. So lots of fast sweeping corners here, and it's absolutely crucial to really maximise the track width and carry a lot of your speed through the corners. See just how close they are. They're not really too far behind, so I think they are going to get the slipstream. So yeah, the gap only 0.4. Looking for that green sign just after the 150. So I said 125 last time, but I think pretty much where that green board is. He's looking up the inside for that narrow exit, but I'm just going to kind of cut him off. But to be honest, he's still in the better position because he's right behind me. So you see how long this straight is. He has the time to catch up in the slipstream, get past me, and then have the time to go back into his slipstream and then come back past him. That's how long that straight is. It's 2 miles pretty much. So it's actually too long. So perhaps actually being ahead is the better place to be, as you can kind of get them back again. So into turn 1, lap 4 now. So things looking okay. Looks like a good battle developing for the top 3. I don't know where 4th is. I think a couple of seconds down the road. Judging by the map, they're going through turn 1 now. So maybe 4 or 5 seconds behind. In fact, looking behind there briefly, you couldn't see 4th place. In fact, just might have seen a glimpse of them coming out of turn 2. So at least a couple of seconds. It's going to take something drastic for 4th place to catch up. But then again, we do have the penalties. So we're just going to have a look at the time here. The gap between myself and second going into the chicane was 3 tenths. And I absolutely nailed it. You see just how quickly that gap increases, well over a second, or just over a second. So I gained 7 tenths just in that one chicane alone. Kind of shows you just, if you just can nail one lap, one corner, or one little sequence, or if the other guys make a mistake for one corner, then that might be all it takes. The gap now to 1.4, so I am out of slipstream in range. Now I was considering getting rid of that penalty now, but then I thought, well, it's really hard to kind of decide, as I kind of wanted to stay in the lead for a little bit. So there would have been no real issue with doing that now, you know, getting rid of that penalty, get down to 0. As long as I'm still within range of slipstream and still in the battle, then that would have been okay. I opt for now to keep it. I think I can get rid of it into the pits in a lap's time. So there we go, the gap just over a second. But the thing here, we've said it, the Aston Martin is quicker in a straight line, so they got within that 9 tenths and then they used the slipstream, so I couldn't really do much about that. So I'm going to get swarmed either side, just like Hakkinen and Schumacher at Spa, except on my back mark. A bit of contact into the back of the Death, and I was lucky to not get a penalty there. I guess it's I think it decides that a lot of the time if you push them and then they end up off the circuit or in the wall. So as long as he doesn't actually drive into the wall, it's okay. I might even test that in the future. If someone hits me in the back, I'll just drive into the wall and see if it gives them a penalty. But for now, just me and Lewis, both the Brits in this 3-way battle, have got the penalties. And of course I don't know how big his penalty is, but mine's sitting just under 3 seconds. But as I said, at the end of lap 3, we're going to go into the pits. oh sorry, at the end of lap 5, which is this lap, we're going to go into the pits, and I can kind of just brake a little bit earlier than I normally would. Oh my god, big contact there. The Frenchman getting all out of shape. I went to go past him and he kind of bounced off the wall. So we both lost a chunk of time to the leader. And you can see the 4th place getting fairly close. Might be worth monitoring that situation, especially if I have to use the or if I have to slow right down to get rid of this penalty, 2.9 seconds. So then coming into the final hairpin, let's monitor our fuel, sitting at 11% here. As we go in, tyre wear not too bad around this circuit. You can see the front left probably got the most, but not too bad at all. So not really having to worry about that too much. But fuel is fairly marginal. I don't think we will have to quite put in 100%. So braking just before the pit lane to get rid of that penalty, which I think is the wisest decision. Could have perhaps braked a little bit later, but I think that was just about okay. So here we go, gonna pit and put in 97%. I think the Frenchman put in 98, so we're fairly even on that. So you can see the gap increasing. So the Frenchman has overhauled the Brits for the lead, but the Brit still has his penalty. Interestingly, he didn't decide to get rid of it, or he kind of just foregone that opportunity. So this is the end of the lap then. We've got a German in the lead, but I think he's just not pitted, so he will pit presumably at the end of this lap. And into the hairpin, the Frenchman just ahead, and then the Brit just behind him. So then, am I going to be able to get into that range? Not quite. Actually, it's about 0.9. So I may well, actually, let's going to fast forward here. Let's see if I was within range. I don't think I was. Past the German who's in the pits. So now back to how it was. The battle for first between 3 of us. Although the Spanish guy in 4th, not too far behind. Into the first corner. We've got that one okay. And we've spot that mistake. It's a weird sort of circuit, this one. You really do have to... You have to be really committed through the corners. But then it's very, very easy to make a mistake. It's really easy. Just to go wide a little bit and smash into the wall. Into the fast sweeping chicane, a little bit wide, but we're taking it okay fairly consistently, so not many mistakes. And we're pulling up to the back of this guy now. The Frenchman's still sitting in the lead. Now this is something I kind of need to happen. I need to get this Aston within range to kind of use him as a slingshot to catch up with the French guy. So, I mean, it'd be very hard to kind of catch up with this Frenchman on pure merit alone. It'd be tricky because I think he's about 2 seconds ahead, or just under 2 seconds. But using the slipstream here would be very crucial. In fact, he's going to back off. He's going to get rid of his penalty, I think. So it is up to me now to kind of really reel this guy in from about 1.5 seconds back with only 4 laps remaining. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but we were fairly evenly paced in the first stint. You see the gap there, not too big, and just looking behind briefly, the Brit there slowing down to serve his penalty. Probably in the worst place to do it, but he has done it. So I've got the faster lap there. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. So from here to the end of the race, I'm going to show you that gap to the leader. I mean, that's crucial really. I need to get that below 0.9, and then if I can get within that slipstream range, then, you know, game on and the race is there to be won. If not, then, well, it's going to be hard. It's a really hard decision, you know. How exactly do you do it? Because if you do it too early, there's a chance that he'll just come back and, you know, get me back. So it's really hard to tell around this circuit because of that long straight exactly which is the best place to be. Sometimes being behind is actually the better place because you can slingshot past them on the straight. So then reeling him in, we are attempting it anyway. So gap down to 1.3, 1.2 now. So I think I definitely gain through this section. I think I lose about 2-3 tenths on the straight. As long as I can gain that back and more through the technical area, then it's okay. You see now I'm flashing the lights, really trying to put him off as much as possible. And at night around here, the light really does reflect off of these street signs, especially the ones overhanging above the circuit. So just really trying to put him off, going into the braking zones. I mean, it's not exactly sportsmanlike, but hey ho, it's just a game. And you know, if someone uses, plenty of people use that tactic on me, so you grow used to it if you play this game quite a lot. So then, onto the straight, gap down to 1.0 seconds. Is it going to, yes, it's going to go up again. You can see they went down to 1.02, then they're going back up again, so I wasn't quite within that range. Fast forwarding to the end of the straight, how much is it going to increase? So back up to 1.3, so losing about 3/10 on that straight alone. So that gives you an idea of the difference between the Nissan GTR here and the Aston Martin, which is very good on the straight, presumably why they've chosen that car. As he just grazed the wall on the exit, so gap then coming down. It was 1.5 briefly, now back down to 1.2. So this is it really is a numbers game here, just really trying to monitor the situation in terms of the gap. So down to 1.2, into the fast sweeping chicane. How is it going to go? He gets on the brakes, and I'm there 1.2 seconds later. Come through there okay. Gap hovering still 1.2. Fast sweeping right, should be able to take it flat out, although sometimes we're going for a comfort lift. He's grazed the wall on the exit. Going to flash the crap out of him now to really make sure he knows that he's done that. Gap down to 0.6. So that has been a really big mistake for him. Really big mistake. Still flashing the hell out of him. If he's got epilepsy, he would almost certainly crash at this point. And coming down towards the hairpin, you can see I've actually made a mistake grazing the wall myself. Gap up to 0.9, so I'm right on the cusp there. Is it going to be enough? As we go into the hairpin, I'm gonna have to have a good hairpin here to stay within that range. Just over one second now, as we've only got one lap remaining, so it's really nip and tuck here as to whether or not I can do it. So gap just above it, you can see again it's going up. So I haven't done enough on this lap to get within that range, but we do have one more opportunity, which is of course the run to the line on the end of the last lap, which is this lap that we're now on. So the situation is exactly the same, 1.3 seconds to try and reel in, same as it was on lap 9, and we're going to have to hope that we have a really good sector here, or this technical section of the circuit. I'm going to have to pretty much nail it. I hope that he has a bad section. So he actually lost 3/10 already, so gap coming down to 1 second as we come through here. So the Aston Martin, I don't think, performing quite as well through this twisty area as the Nissan GTR. The GTR feeling at home on the Japanese streets. So we're through here. How is that going to alter the gap? He has grazed the wall. I reckon I've gained a tenth or two, maybe 3, down to 0.7, 0.6, definitely catching up. I'm going to flash him even more. Just going over the crest into the fast left. You see there the light reflecting off of all those green signs up above. I'm trying to save those flashes for the braking zones to really put him off the most I can. And again, another mistake. The mistakes are creeping into his game. Down to 0.4. I'm definitely going to be within range unless I mess up this hairpin. But still, once again, looking for that braking zone after the 150. Look for that board. There it is. And we're down into the hairpin, a little bit wide. We can cut back for that straighter exit. He hasn't got a good exit there. He hasn't used the full track width. So here we go then, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, who's going to win this one? Super GT or the death? Let's find out. As I tuck into that slipstream the best I can. The GTR, a very big car, of course. I'll do my best to hide that body behind the Aston Martin. Going to pull out up to the line. 0.03, 0.02. 0.011. Oh my god, second place. But wow, what a race. It was really close from lap 1. From lap 1 to the very end. It was a really good race. Really enjoyable race, actually. Really tense. But I enjoyed it. And I hope you did too. If you did, then do hit the like button. I hope to see you in the next one as always. Do subscribe for more. And let me know your thoughts on the video. Thank you for watching as always, guys. See you next time. Goodbye.
Listen.